when you're married to an entrepreneur, you have to understand that whatever you're saying, right, there is going to be a different type of conversation if you don't find a way to communicate with clarity and with a point across.
This is Vivian Villacis.
And this is Raul Villacis.
Welcome to the podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the God, Money, and Sex podcast. My name is Vivian Villacis, and I'm here with
Raul Villacis. Excited to be here. Brand new podcast, brand new studio. We're coming in strong in 2024. This is the year that we're going to make sure that we're consistent on this podcast. So thank every single one of you for watching. If you're watching us live, just make sure you comment and let us know where you're watching us from. We're going to talk about communication. I think, this year is the year of raising the standards, right? And as we raise the standards, we also have to raise the standards of communication.
And that's always something that, we've been talking a lot about relationships. So we're always talking about relationships. And even like today, we had someone come over the house to fix something with the technology that's always going wrong in the house. And he came in with someone that was helping him out. And he looked at me and he was like, "Oh, do I know you?" And I said, probably whether social media or my sister, because she could have been like the governor here in Stanford. And she was like, "Yes, that's it. It's Maria. You're Maria's sister." And I said, "Yes, I am, Vivian." And he was like, "Oh my God." He was like, he used to go out with someone in high school. Anyway, long story short, because I could give you a whole meta report. This is communication. He was like, "You and Raul are still together. I cannot believe that you guys are still together. It's going to be like 20 plus years." And I said, "Yeah, that's how long it's been," because he knows us from high school. And he was saying like how he has met so many people from back in the days, from like high school times, that none of them are together. And he goes, "What is the secret? What is the key for like your lasting in your marriage?" And I said, pretty much, we've had a really good teachers in showing us how to communicate. And we have God in our lives and we have sex in our lives. And then he was like, "Yeah, that's a really great
I was going to say the secret, God,
Yeah.
God, money, and sex. Like
Yes.
if you have those three, the relationship is going to last.
And that's one of the hardest things. And I think that's the reason why, we want to have this conversation today, if you're listening to us, is because communication is such an important key to relationships.
Especially if you're an entrepreneur. I think that a lot of people who follow us are entrepreneurs, are driven, men who have the edge, men who want the edge, women who want to be queens. And I think that that's different. If you're married to an entrepreneur, you're married to a different type of man.
Yeah, he had, and I wanted to start this conversation, and I'm thinking to myself, you have no idea the man that I'm married to, because like you said, when we are in this relationships and you are in this, even from the day-to-day basis, it's not the same as everyone else's, because the way that you run is
there is no off switch. There is no off switch.
100 miles an hour.
So that's what I want to make sure that people in the audience understand, that if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're married to an entrepreneur, or your wife is an entrepreneur, your husband is an entrepreneur, there is no off switch. There's no such thing as a 9 to 5.
Right.
Okay, so if you're an employee, if you work for a company, yes, there's 9 to 5, and you probably could have a more structured relationship. I think we had 9 to 5s when we got married, and we had a structured relationship. Then as soon as I opened up a business, it was like...
Yeah, back then it was so simple, like that 9 to 5, the budget, that this and the other. But when you're running a business, it just becomes such a part of you. And also because with us, it's such a purpose fulfilling part of our lives that it's really having that communication. And I would say even having those clear boundaries as to how much we want to bring with us.
So every time I have an event, and we have an event coming up in the next couple of weeks with some other guys that are flying in for the Beyond the Edge bootcamp. I'm excited for that. There's always strategies that we want to implement. We always have masterminds that there's no shortage of strategies. Right. But I always end every event with the question of, how can you fuck this up? How can you fuck this up? We're excited. We have all the strategies. We have the edge. We're going to conquer the world. But how can we fuck this up? And I think that if you begin this year with a lot of intentions of growing your business, connecting with your spouse, getting in the best shape of your life, whatever it is that you want, ask yourself, how can I fuck this up? how can I mess this up? So in relationships, one way you could fuck this up is by not communicating and not understanding each other's needs.
Agreed.
And I think as an entrepreneur, we have to be clear of what our needs are. We know what our needs are in the market, in our business. And sometimes men don't communicate their needs to their wives. They know what they want in business. They know how to measure the success in business, but they don't know how to communicate that with their partners. They don't know how to communicate in a clear way, expectations. And that's where there's a lot of frictions. That's what we see, at least statistics show that entrepreneurs have a higher ratio of getting divorced.
Because there's so much happening in your plates, like so much happening in your mind. And I feel like, I think one of the things that I hear women who are married to a high level entrepreneur is, like he doesn't have enough time. He doesn't make the time, or he doesn't have enough time, or we don't have enough time to communicate about these things that are really happening for me. And, how I tell my ladies and how I've told myself, it's like, listen, you have to kind of allow yourself the time and the space to know, like, what are the things that are really important for you to bring into this conversation. And if they're that important, then you have to make the time and really have that communication and have those conversations, because you can't have the conversation by yourself.
So I want to share with you two clips. Vivian and I were doing some research about, some of the things that we've learned and how can we frame the communication conversation. Yeah. So there's two clips I want to share with you. One clip from Jordan Peterson. So Daniel, if you could play that clip, and then we could discuss. And he's talking about how men communicate, what to expect when your man is communicating.
Understand this about men too, because, and this is something that's very different between men and women. Men always know when they're talking to other men that they might get punched. Well, that's right. You know that. It's like, say the wrong stupid thing and see what happens. And if the guy won't punch you, if you said the wrong stupid thing, then he's kind of contemptible. Right? And so that's always regulating male conversation. Well, you don't have that with women, because that just can't be a possibility. And so men will often disengage from an emotion-provoking conversation because they're afraid that they'll get goaded into doing something stupid. Women have to understand this about men too, because and this is something that's very
when
different.
he says, I agree with a lot of the stuff that he's saying, right? But it's like, okay, so men disengage because they don't want to continue to have that conversation at home.
So if we're talking to other men and we disagree, then we know, okay, is either we're going to fight or we're going to have a discussion. It's going to be a heated discussion. Right. But just like he says, that we respect the fact if I say something stupid, I'm going to get punched in the face, or I'm going to be called out, or I'm going to look stupid, right? So I have respect for the other man, and the other man has respect for me. So therefore, the conversations could be real and could be raw. And I think that's where I love coaching men. Like the reason that I have not lost my hair, thank God, knock on wood, and the reason that I've been doing this for the past decade without getting burned out, I believe, is because I'm coaching people who I understand, like men who have the edge, men who've lost the edge, men who are driven, who operate from a different perspective. And that, I think that's where I could resonate. And the moment that a man engages in a conversation, if he feels that he's not going to win or get his point across, and he cannot communicate right, he's going to walk away. He's going to disengage. And when you're married to an entrepreneur, you have to understand that whatever you're saying, right, there is going to be a different type of conversation if you don't find a way to communicate with clarity and with a point across. If there is no point to the conversation, an entrepreneur wants to solve problems. We're solving problems the whole day. So when we have a conversation or an argument and there is zero chances of me winning, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to disengage.
Okay, I agree. And I think when it comes to relationships, men and women are totally different, right? So like, know the obvious. And I think like when you start the conversation, you have to know that. And I think a lot of the times when I'm going to have a conversation with you, I tell you, and I find the time and the space so we could have those conversations. If it's something serious, or it's just like I want to give you a meta report, like I kind of just set that frame on that. It's like, hey, listen, I just want to have a conversation with you, or this is serious. I need 5 minutes of your time. But I think women, like, we feel like our men, again, don't give us the priority, or we don't have the time that we need, but it's only because we're not asking for it. And I know that I've gotten better at asking for your time because I know that I'm worthy of it. And the way that I ask is also not from a place of like, hey, I deserve this or I want this. But it's like, we need to have this conversation because it's important. And also know, like I'll tell you when it's a meta report and when it's not.
Also from a place of knowing that the time that we're spending together is going to be productive. We're going to have connection, that you're not going to be beating me down. And I think that's
Right.
where a lot of men walk away from conversations because they're just getting beat down. The frame that I use is you are the container for your relationships. You are not the garbage can in your relationship.
Yes.
Meaning, just because you want to be the leader of your family and you have the masculine energy doesn't give the woman the right to beat you down all the time or emasculate you or tell you how shitty you are in every area, right? It has to be a way that you convey respect, because men value respect more than anything else.
Agreed.
If I feel disrespected in a conversation and I can't punch you in the face because that's what I would do with another man, with a man, then I'm gonna walk away because I don't want to get triggered to the point that I'm gonna feel that, right? So how do you diffuse that conversation? And I train men to look at this from a place of understanding that your woman is not your enemy. So the moment that we get into a heated conversation, if I feel that there is no end to the conversation, I have to switch my brain and say, she's not my enemy. She's my queen. She's my lover. I'm gonna have compassion. I wanna hold my frame and not become a pleaser to bend to whatever you want me to do just because we're arguing. I think that's the biggest
Yes.
mistake men do. The moment that you start arguing, to end the argument, what do you want? Okay,
I'll do whatever you want.
Whatever you want. I just want you to, shut up and just leave me alone.
And also we feel that energy. So that's something I was going to say too. Like you've gotten so good at just truly listening to me. And I feel that energy of like you giving me your attention, your undivided attention, because there's also times I have to tell you where I see you and I'm talking to you and you've checked out. And I think a lot of the time when you are this high level entrepreneur, you give your best when you're out in the force field.
100%.
You give your best to like the people to your business, to whatever it is that you're doing. And then when you come home, you don't have the same energy,
depleted.
right?
You're
like,
depleted.
I have
You
a
just want to
1%
watch
of
TV.
me.
You just want to.
I don't want to deal with more
yeah.
problems. I just don't want to solve anything else. So I'd rather check out and just not say anything, or I'm going to let you do whatever it is that you want to do. And I think that's what really you have done for me. And I know, even though like I may not ask for it all the time, I know that you're going to be there for me when I ask.
So I always tell my guys, your energy is contagious.
You're what?
Energy is contagious.
Energy is
So whatever
contagious.
energy you bring home, you're going to trigger all kinds of chaos,
Mm-hmm.
right? So whatever problem you have in the office stays in the office.
Yeah.
Whatever is going on in your company stays in the company. Don't bring that energy into the home because you're going to create chaos.
Mm-hmm.
I had a coaching client last week, and he had an argument with his wife, and he called me up. Raul, can I have 5 minutes? That 5 minutes turned into 1 hour, and I'm diffusing the conversation because he's like, man, this constantly blaming. She's doing this, she's doing that, and she's okay. So I asked him, where's your responsibility? Where's your ownership on this? Because it can't be just her. Because I know you. if I didn't know you, maybe I would believe you. But I know you, I know her, and I know that you're an asshole. Okay, so there's parts of you that created this chaos. And then
Right.
afterwards, he's like, you're right. There's parts of me that did this. So let's process it. Why are you attracting this? Why is this bothering you? Why are you being triggered by this? Because there's some truth to it.
Right.
Men would not be triggered by their women if there was some truth to it. If you tell me, Raul, you're lazy, Raul, you don't never work out, or you never do this, you never provide, I know that's not true.
You won't get offended 'cause
But
it's
if you
not the
tell me,
truth.
Raul, you're always late, you don't listen to me when I tell you where to go in the car.
Or I don't feel like I'm the priority when you know
There
you
is
have to
some
get to a
truth to
meeting.
it, so therefore it will bother me, right?
Right,
So
right.
whatever triggers you as a man, there is some truth to it. So you have to work on that on your own. You can't expect your wife to cuddle you. You can't expect your wife to just be sensitive. Your wife is your biggest teacher. That's what I tell my guys. Your wife is the biggest teacher. Whatever she's doing to you to help you to get stronger. Now, if you want to become a pleaser and you want to lower your standard, you're never going to grow.
And then when you take that sense of responsibility, it's like, okay, what is it that I could take responsibility for? And then you kind of just diffuse that conversation, that, fighting all together.
Yeah.
Like taking responsibility is such a huge thing. And I know that sometimes that's like one of the hardest things, because we as women, like, we want to continue. It's like, hey, I want you to see me. I want you to appreciate me. I want you to but we're not asking for it in that sense. We just rather just fight for it and then continue to punch each other. And really, we're not getting anywhere.
So I want to also share another clip that we have here. And it talks about what do high value men want. So there's a word of high value man, right? What is high value man? A high value man is somebody who brings something to the table that has a certain standard. Usually when I talk to entrepreneurs, they're high value men. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in the marketplace. Every entrepreneur, every business owner, if you don't bring value to the market, you're going to be out of business. So that just tells you that you're a high value man, because the market is telling you that what you have has value.
And then I would say, like, if you are a high value man, you are married to a high valued woman, because you would not be able to do what you do if you didn't have that kind of support around you. Because that's, I know for us in our marriage, I help a lot. And when it comes to like energy, again, of like, okay, how do I support you? How do I
100%.
elevate what you're doing? How do I pray over what you're doing? How do I give you that peace of mind for what you're doing? And I know who I am and what I bring to the table. So I know that behind or next to, or, beside you, there's a high level woman right next to the men.
So let's watch this clip, because this clip explains a little bit of what we're talking about here, is what do high value men want and the place of a high value woman. So
at this table just said that you all deserve a high value man. High value men look for high value women. High value women have femininity to offer men, support, help. Nietzsche said, a man's happiness is I will, a woman's happiness is he will, right? I've found that the healthiest relationships I've had in my life were when a woman looked at me as kind of like the hero in her life, and she really admired me and looked up to me, and my dreams and goals and vision were her dreams and goals and vision. And when there's tension there, it can tear at the relationship, right? High value men typically are very driven, but they're focused, they're confident, they're on a mission in the world. If you have your own mission that's fighting with his and there's conflict there, like, not a lot of high value men want that. High value men want women in their lives that make their lives easier, who they feel supported by, so on and so forth. Pretty much every woman at this table just said that you all. What
are your thoughts?
Yes, of course, 100%. And, we're not always in that page, unfortunately, because, when you are high level men, sometimes you don't really appreciate the woman that is next to you. And I think that's one of the things that, when men, and not to put anyone down, but it's like, how do I turn around and really appreciate what I have next to me? Because a lot of the times what we hear is like this high level entrepreneurs and women, like, you're doing everything 100 miles an hour, and then you turn around and you forgot about the people that really got you there to begin with.
When I listen to what he's saying, the first thing that comes to me is being the hero, right? Every man wants to be the hero.
Yes,
and a high value man is looking for, how can I be a hero? How can I be a hero? How can I provide for you? How can I do things for you? And I think we live in a culture where women don't need heroes no more, right? I don't need a hero.
My own hero.
I am my own hero. I could do my own thing. I think there was a clip about the new Snow White movie. Did you hear about this new Snow White movie that they're coming up with a new theme?
No way.
That the Snow White doesn't need a Prince Charming. The Snow White doesn't need any help. That she's gonna be the leader that she's going to be.
No
she's gonna be the boss.
Wait, no more seven dwarfs?
So the 7 dwarfs are gonna be 7 dwarfs. They're gonna be 7.
She doesn't need anybody
7
anymore.
somethings. I don't know. It's gonna be something, but it's not gonna be like your traditional story that we're used to.
Well, but then that's a whole different story. That's a whole different topic. But that brings such chaos and such separation.
Well, if you listen to what he's saying the man's the drive is I will. The woman's drive is he will. Right. So now, as even the Bible says, like, the man has to be the leader of the family because he is submissive to God. Right. So the man has to be submissive to God. He has to be looking for something higher than himself. A woman will be submissive to men because he understands that the man is being submissive to God.
Right.
So if the man is not submissive to God or a higher version of himself, then he's gonna get lost.
Yeah.
And that's why you see a lot of marriages right now suffering, because there is no leadership.
Yeah.
There's no issue. There is a two-headed monster. If the woman is going this way and the man is going that way, how are you going to end up together? You have to get on the same page. You have to, maybe if not on the same page, you have to get in the same book.
Yeah, I was
Get on
gonna
the
say
same
that,
book
yeah.
so you could start from there.
Yeah, because a lot of the time, sometimes women want to do their own thing, but still, like, I think energetically knowing, like, the reason why I'm saying this is because at the beginning, when you started your next level company, like, I supported you and I loved what you were doing, but it's like that wasn't my vision. And I still did my own stuff, but I loved and I support and like I prayed for it. And then when I felt the worthiness of like, hey, I could be by your side, I could also do this with you, then it's like, okay, we could do it together.
But you were not hindering the growth. You may not have been part of it from the beginning, but you were not saying, Raul, what are you doing?
I was not
This is gonna
belittling
work."
any part of it.
You were not
Right.
belittling me. You were
Right,
not
no.
emasculating me. You were like, okay, you do what you have to do. If you want to do that, that's fine. I just
I don't
watch
believe
from
I
the
can help
side.
you at this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then a lot of men are waiting for the woman to be the cheerleader, the woman to be the ones who are going to cheer for them. But the reality is, if you're waiting for your woman to be a cheerleader, then that means that you don't believe in your mission. That means
Yes.
that you don't believe in the vision that you have.
Yes, but it's also important because that's what men like, like to the women out there who are listening, like men need that. They need the love, the appreciation, the support, the like, you are my hero. You're doing all these things.
But the first thing for man is I need a vision. I need a purpose. I need to go somewhere. I need to know
You
where
got
I'm
to show me
going.
what you're doing.
Once I know where I'm going, then I could tell you, hey, here's where we're going.
Yeah.
Here's the vision. Here's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I
If
agree.
you don't have a vision, if you don't have a mission in life, you're not going to be able to lead your wife and your family. So, but once you have a mission, once you have a vision, once you're going somewhere, then you're looking for a supportive partner, somebody who's going to be there to pick up the sword if you need to when you're at war. Because that's what entrepreneurship is. Entrepreneurship is a battle. And if every single day you're thinking about going to the battle and you have to worry about what's my wife going to say, what's she thinking about? Is she texting me right now because I'm the call? It's going to take you off your game.
Yeah.
And eventually you're going to die. You're going to go out of business.
Yeah, you got to
So
have that
it's
freedom.
essential
to do.
for you to build your relationship so you don't have to worry about it. I would say this many times. I've said this to you many times. The reason I'm able to do what I do is because I have peace of mind at home.
Yeah.
Like you bring me peace. You
Yeah.
hold it down. I don't have to worry about the kids being taken care of. I don't have to worry about the kids eat. Are the kids being picked up? That's handled. I just focus on, can I build the kingdom? Can I continue to bring value? Can I continue to grow? And that brings me peace. So that's why whatever you want, I will give you. Because I know that you have my back and I know that we're doing this together.
Yes, thank you for saying that. And I think, one of the things when he says that to the women, it's like sometimes women don't feel like that they're the high value type of women. And that's probably like one of the downfalls is like when you're in this relationship, not for nothing, but like for us women, like we validated ourselves in the relationship and the love. And it's like, if I'm not getting that from you, then I may not be that high value woman that he wants me to be. But if you're hearing this, like, I want you to know that you are. Like, you do so much. And it doesn't mean that you need to have like X amount of dollars in your bank account, or have a big company or people that you're running with. It doesn't really mean that. It means that, like you have success at your own terms, whatever it is, that's you. But know who you are and what you bring to the table. And I think that's so important.
And what women bring is that feminine
So
energy
much.
of grounding.
He said that, right? Something about feminine.
Grounding. I mean, women, don't discount yourself. You may not be running the company with your husband, or you may be in the company with your husband. No matter what position you are, you bring in that peace. Your energy grounds him to the point that he's able to go out there and fight the battlefields because of the energy that you bring him.
Knowing
That's
who
the
you
power of your relationship.
Knowing who
That's the
you are.
power of having a queen at home and you working to be the king.
Yes, knowing who you are. Just if you get anything out of this, it's like knowing who you are and what you bring into the relationship, what you bring into you for your marriage, for God, and for everyone that you touch. Like just knowing who you are, it's such a journey in itself.
And it's part of communication. You gotta learn how to communicate. The first part of communicate with God. Like you gotta have more conversations with God, with a higher power. That's the foundation of self-development, of working on yourself. Second communication is communicating with your partner, with your queen, with your husband.
Make
How
the
to
time.
make time
Make
to
the time to
communicate.
communicate.
Don't just fight, communicate.
And if you have to fight, it's okay too. I think, that's one of the things that people get it wrong. It's like, you have to be passionate about something, learn to communicate about it. If you have to fight about it, it's something that you have a stance on, like fight about it. There are many times like you and I fought about, say, time with the kids. And I made that clear. It's like it was important to me. And we fought about it. We got our point across. I wasn't afraid to tell you. Then there was parts of you that you had to listen. And, we may not agree in everything, but we listen to each other. We respect each other.
We're committed.
Right?
We're committed to work this out.
Yes.
And that's the third point, is that you're not each other's enemies.
That's right.
Know
You're not.
that your husband is not your enemy. Your wife is not your enemy. It's you against the world.
That's
you have
right.
to have the ride or die mentality. So I appreciate you being my ride or die.
Yes.
And I appreciate every single one of you watching
Yes.
this podcast. Make sure you comment, subscribe, continue to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. And we'll see you next time. Learn it.
Live it. Experience it. Love life.
If you receive any value from this conversation, comment, subscribe, and share as we continue to impact more people and take them to the next level.
And please send us your comments and questions so we could answer them in the next podcast.
See you in the next episode.